Welcome back, all my fragrance fanatics and beauty babes. If you can't already tell by the thumbnail of this video and by my leather jacket that I am wearing today, we're gonna be talking about the note of leather. All of the perfumes that I have that have like a leather note or a suede note to them. So I'm gonna link where I purchased all these perfumes in the description box below. If any of them are Amazon links, I do get a commission from that. So without further ado, let's get started. We're gonna start off with the most leather perfume that I have, which is Cherry Punk. Now this one is the 2023 edition, so don't get that confused with the original. This one is the Cherry Punk Extrait de Parfum, which is different than the original. This one is so expensive, but it lasts forever on the skin and it's amazing, but it's so expensive. So what I do is I go on Scentbird, and that's how I acquire this. Now, they will only let you buy the same perfume every few months, but that's what I've been doing because it's much cheaper to buy the 10 mil from Scentbird than it is to go on the actual Room 1015 website and buy like a bottle of it. This perfume has a very juicy, sweet cherry note in here that is definitely prominent. And then the other note that's extremely prominent is the leather. It's basically a lot of cherry and a lot of leather. And this leather is it's a dark, sexy leather mixed with this sweet, juicy cherry. And it's extremely sexy. I think, everyone's version on what is sexy, is different, depending on each person. But for me, cherries and leather just combined is such a sexy smell to me. And this is very, it's intoxicating. It's, this is a dominant, very bad girl type of scent. Very confident bad girl in a leather jacket type of vibe from this perfume that I really love. Like on a date night or something, or if you're going out with the girls, like this is such a definitely a head turner for sure. The next one we're going to be talking about is the Rifficot by Paris Corner. This one is the dupe for Baby Cat. I have smelt those side by side, and I honestly can't tell hardly any difference whatsoever. They're almost identical. And so I think this is an amazing dupe for Baby Cat. So with this one, you are not actually getting the note of leather. There is no note of leather in here. However, there is saffron, and saffron, it may be different for some people, depending on how the saffron is. Sometimes it can come off very leathery. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. And in this case, it definitely comes off leathery in here. So this perfume is very spicy, and it has a powderiness to this. And there is a depth, but there's also this really fresh spice, like almost like an aromatic quality to this perfume all at the same time. And the leather is so smooth, soft in the base there, and you get that vanilla. And this is just a very, it's dirty and sexy. Not like it doesn't smell like dirt, but it just smells like naughty. It's just a very sexual perfume. I think great for date night, or just a really confident woman. You can wear this anytime you want. But absolutely love this one. So we've talked about two more naughty, sexy type of leather perfumes. Now we're going to talk about something a little bit more feminine and classy, or at least in my opinion, classy. The Genon Rose. This one is like I said, it's very feminine, ultra powdery. It's got the florals in there, that cherry blossom in here, like I really pick up, and the heliotrope. And it has this very warm, creamy amaretto in here. And it's like ultra powdery, but very warm and sweet, creamy at the same time. And then I get this hint of cherry in here. I guess it's coming from the cherry blossom itself. I don't know, maybe the amaretto, but I get like an actual cherry note to this perfume that I really love. And then in the base, you get this really ultra smooth, soft suede. And I know that sometimes I will I will interchange the words smelling like suede and smelling like leather. And I shouldn't do that because those are in my brain, I know what I'm talking about, but when I say it, like you all don't know. So I need to be more specific when I'm talking about either a suede smelling perfume or a leather smelling perfume. And this one has more of a suede. It's very soft feeling, and mixed with the amaretto and the cherry blossom in here, there's just something about this that is so, it's very beast mode for sure. You don't need a lot of this, but this is like such a perfect springtime. I am a very feminine, confident woman vibe going on with this perfume. And this is one of my favorite Middle Eastern perfumes. I really enjoy this one. Next up, we're going to be talking about Cherry Ambition by the Seven Virtues. This one was my introductory perfume into the leather note because and I didn't like it at first. And this technically doesn't even have a leather note in there. Like I said, sometimes saffron does this, and the saffron in this perfume definitely comes off leathery. So when I first got this perfume, I sprayed it out and I was like, oh my God. Like I felt like I was being slapped in the face by a leather belt. I was like, no, thank you. This is not for me. But then I tried it again and I was like, okay, it's not so bad. And then I tried it a third time and I was like, oh my God, this has been on my top 10 list of all my perfumes for a long time because it's an amazing cherry leather perfume. Now, not only does it have these juicy, tart cherries, very fruity, juicy, tart, sweet cherries, but you also get this very powdery, sweet marshmallows, fluffy, powdery, sweet marshmallows. And then you add on top of this, you've got this vanilla and this resinous frankincense in the base, but you also get that saffron, and the saffron comes off like a smooth leather, but it's not near as much leather as what you're gonna get in Cherry Punk, which is kind of similar to this because, you know, the Cherry Punk and Cherry Ambition, there's some similarities there. But this one is sweeter and less leathery. So if you want something, and it's cheaper too. So if you want something cheaper than Cherry Punk, something a little bit sweeter, a little less leathery, Cherry Ambition is the way to go. And I have had many compliments with this perfume because not only is it sweet, but it smells it's intoxicating, it's alluring, and it's very sexy. And I really love this one. It's been on my top 10 for a long time now, and for good reason. The next one we're gonna be talking about is Roat Al Oud. Now with this one, this has saffron and leather in the notes. And when I first got this perfume, for the first month or two, I couldn't pick up much of the leather or the woods. I mean, they were there, but they were way, like I had to really work hard to find them. They were way off in the background. It was mainly all about the raspberry and the rose being mushed together into this very sweet jam. Now, I will say that is still, that's still the prominent thing that's in here, is that sweet rose raspberry jam. That's the most prominent thing. But then I am also picking up a little bit more of that leather, and it's like the jam makes the leather really sweet. And then you get a little bit of woodiness to this as well. So there is, I don't know, it just adds some interest to this perfume. So it's not so linear. There's like a lot going on in here, and it's really interesting. But it stays mainly sweet throughout the whole wear of the perfume, with that jamminess. But the leather in here, it kind of gives off the same sort of leather vibes as Cherry Ambition, because it's a very Again, that one's a very sweet leather base. This one is a more sweet leather base as well. But I mean, for the price of this, for being so inexpensive, it's such an interesting perfume, and I really enjoy it. So the next one we're going to be talking about is Rogue by Rihanna. Now this one does not have leather and it doesn't have saffron, but it does have suede in the notes here. And what I mainly pick up in this perfume is that fruitiness. It's a very dark, juicy plum. Very fruity, dark, juicy, sweet, a little musky plum. And then it's mixed with this very soft, almost buttery suede. And those two things mixed together, it's just very intoxicating. It's sexy. I love perfumes like this. Oh, it's just like alluring, and I love it. Next up, we have Kissa Blue. And this one I would consider unisex, leaning more masculine. But, you know, anyone can wear this. I'm just letting you guys know for the ones who want to know. But this one is all about the citrus, aromatic. There's fresh spices. I definitely pick up oranges and lemons. Like, you can definitely smell like very citrusy oranges, lemons. It's very spicy. Like I said, very aromatic and fresh. But then I also pick up this leather note mixed in with this incense. And the leather note is really nice. It's like this smooth leather that just kind of gives this perfume a little bit more interest. So it's not just a citrus perfume. There's like, I don't know, there's just something more to it, which is interesting and fun. The incense is a bit much for me though. As long as you don't spray this out too heavily, you'll be okay. But I still don't know how I feel about smokiness, because this can be very, very smoky if you spray too much. And I don't know how I personally feel about that. But I love the citrus aromatic freshness, and I love the smooth leather mixed with this. And then the base has this really nice powdery fresh finish. It kind of reminds me of MAC Turquotic. Not the opening or the middle, but the base of that perfume, what it dries down to, that powdery freshness, like that's the same sort of powdery freshness that I get from this, which is really nice. I love it. If it just wasn't for that incense, I just still don't know how I feel about the smokiness. But if you're okay with that, I think this is an amazing perfume, because the leather and everything in here is just, it's just not your typical freshy citrus. There's something more going on, and I love that. I find that so interesting. The next one we're going to be talking about is the Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli by Kayali. Now this, in my opinion, is one of the best and longest lasting Kayali perfumes that she has out. Absolutely love this one, and this is anything but linear. This takes you on a sensory journey. It's so good, you guys. When I first spray this out, I get a sweet, boozy, vanilla orchid, and you're like walking through a spice market in the middle of town. Like that's how it comes out in the beginning. And then as it dries down, you get this delicious, ultra delicious creme brulee. And then you start to pick up a little bit on that leather, and it's like a smooth leather. And mixed with all of these other things, it just becomes intoxicating and addictive to smell. And then the base, you've got this amber and patchouli, and it's boiling in a pot of sugar. Brown sugars, cane sugars, all the sugars. It's like caramelizing the patchouli and the amber, and it just smells so, it's delicious, it's addictive, and it is anything but linear. I love the journey this perfume takes me on. And then we have Kin by Define Me. This one, in my opinion, is unisex, leaning more masculine. However, I really enjoy wearing this perfume. I think it's like very sexy. And again, this is different than just a typical freshy perfume. It's got a little bit of interest to it. So this one doesn't have leather or suede or anything like that in there, but it does have saffron. And like I said, sometimes saffron can come off leathery, and in this instance, it does. A very soft, it's not very like, you know, dominant or in your face, but there's a very soft leatherness to this. But it's mainly very aquatic, fresh, warm, spicy. There's a powdery freshness in the base, which is really nice. But that leather gives it that added interest that I was talking about. So it's not just an aquatic, you know, freshy. Like it's just, there's something different to it. A little bit, it makes it sexier. It makes it a little bit deeper and a little bit sexier, but still yet really, it's really fresh at the same time. And I really enjoy this one a lot. During summertime is most definitely when this one shines. But you could bring this with you on vacation, and you and your significant other could share this, because it's just one of those, it's just very sexy. It's perfect this time of year. Just love it. So those are all of my favorite leathery perfumes. Well, leather / suede / saffron, you know, whatever. I would love to know in the comment section, what are some of your favorite leathery perfumes? And I find them so sexy, and just makes me feel like, I don't know, like I'm a confident bad girl, you know, like that's just what I get when I spray one of those out. And I love it. I love it. But anyway, so I would love to know some of your favorites. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.